Oh, I'm actually in live. I'm actually just I'm just trying to see how things work here, because that's the first time I use that. Hey, hello. How am I supposed to see how many people are watching the live right now? I have no idea. I have no idea. Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand. Okay, again, this is pretty new for me, guys. I have no idea how this works. I'm much better at Airflow than using a streaming tool. So let's see how that works. All right. Hi everybody. Welcome in this it's actually my first live, so I have no idea if that's gonna work well or not, but feel free to ask any questions if you have. But I just wanted to make this first live, because we got a new project. We got a new project on Data Project Hunt, and I think it would be nice to review that project together. So I don't know if you know this platform, but this is Data Project Hunt. I launched that platform a while ago already. And the idea is for you to find a lot of data engineering projects, as you can see right here. And there is a new one, which is this Commerce 360. And what I want to do here is to review the DAG, because as you can see, this project is using a DAG. So that's what we're going to do together. And by the way, if some of you are experts, in Kafka or DBT or other tools, feel free to participate, obviously, and also give your insights regarding Airflow. The idea is that we're going to do that. We're going to do this together. Okay, so let's begin. I'm just going to reorganize my screen a little bit. Okay, so we have this new project, which is a full. So let's take a look at it. Actually, we have some nice screenshots here, and then we have a description of the project. So it's a full-featured AI native data platform that simulates how a real e-commerce company ingests, transforms, observes, and analyzes data. We have some tools here. We have DLT, DBT, Airflow, Astro. Okay, DuckDB, Kafka. We also have some AI native interfaces. Okay, we have Docker. We have a lot of things here. And it is designed to be a reference architecture to learn or showcase Lakehouse design patterns, batch streaming pipelines, end-to-end observability. So we have a lot here. We definitely have a lot. There are like some articles that you can find here if you want to learn more about the project. To be honest, I didn't check the project yet, so I'm going to check it with you guys right now. I have no idea what this project truly does and what it has, but it looks a pretty solid one. So let's take a look at it. So we have the GitHub here. Let's open it. Okay, so that's the GitHub. We have a beautiful README. So again, we have the overview, the business use case, the architecture. So the architecture layers, we have a data ingestion layer, a storage transformation layer, orchestration layer, a lot of layers right here. We have an architecture diagram. I think this is one of the things that I love with AI, is that I don't know what you think, but I expect to see more and more architecture diagrams like that, because, well, thanks to AI now, they can be automatically generated. I'm pretty sure that nobody wanted to do that before using AI. But we have this nice architecture diagram and then some key features here, and the quick start. So we have the instructions to start the project. I'm not going to start the project because my internet connection is not that great and there is a lot to download here, but feel free to do it if you want to try the project yourself and tell me if everything works. The idea of this live is truly to review the Airflow DAG. Okay. And by the way, feel free to ask if you have any questions. All right, so let's take a look at the DAG. So first, we can maybe look for the Airflow version. Do we have the Airflow version somewhere? Oh, okay, right here. Okay, so this project is based on Airflow 2.8 plus. So I guess like it's 2.8. Keep in mind that it's definitely not the last version of Airflow. Now you have Airflow 3.1 and 3.2 is coming, I think, in February. So 2.8 is not the last version, but it's a great version, much better than if you were on previous versions. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at the Airflow folder, because we have the Airflow folder right here. I'm not sure if you can see. I think you cannot see GitHub right now. Can you see GitHub? Oh, yes, you can. Okay, so if we take a look at the Airflow folder and then go into the DAGs folder, okay, there is a huge lag. 1 second. Okay, now I can see your comments. Okay, so let's take a look at the pipeline. So we have the ecom data pipeline.py. Nice. Let's take a look at it. All right, so first thing first, you have the imports as usual, right? And we can see here an import, which is Airflow decorators, and then we have the DAG task and task group decorators. So that's actually great because, well, the author uses decorators. I think like whenever you need to use the Python operator, you should use the task decorator, okay? And if you want, you can use the task group and the DAG decorators. They are less, I would say they are less useful. Like for example, you don't have to use the DAG decorator, but if you use the Python operator, you should definitely use the task decorator instead, because it's easier to write, to read, to debug. And ultimately, decorators are like what we call the task API, and they allow you to build better DAGs ultimately. That being said, in Airflow 3, you should not use Airflow.decorators anymore. You should use Airflow.sdk. Okay, keep in mind that Airflow.decorators is deprecated in Airflow 3. Okay. Hi, Mir. Hi, Alexi. Hi, Lucas. I didn't see you. Hi, everybody. Then we have then we have like an interesting import, which is a Cosmos config. So it looks like this project is using Cosmos. I don't know if you know Cosmos, by the way, but if you are using DBT in your Airflow DAG, you should use Cosmos. Okay, Cosmos is actually a free, let me show you that. So Cosmos is a Python package that brings you a much better integration for DBT in your Airflow DAGs. Okay, that's what you can see here. Like the idea of Cosmos is to render your DBT project as a DAG, either as a DAG or as a task group. And that's exactly what you can see here, right? You have like your DBT project. This is a basic example, but you have your DBT project. And then you can just generate a DAG out of your DBT project. Here it is the famous Jaffel Shop DBT project. But that generates a DAG, and you can see here, all the seeds, the stagings, like all the models of your DBT project. And obviously, it gives you a better observability and also a better, if you want to, for example, retry a specific model, you can do that just by retrying a specific task in Airflow. And you also benefit from the alerts that Airflow can provide. and all the features. Okay, so I highly recommend you to take a look at Cosmos if you don't know about it. But that being said, let's go back to the DAG. So Cosmos is a good idea. You can see here that it actually, the DAG uses dbt task group, which is nice. And then we have the Airflow operators dummy. So you should not use the dummy operator anymore. Okay, instead of the dummy operator, you should use the empty operator and not the dummy operator, because the dummy operator has been deprecated a long time ago. Then you have the DAG decorator, which is a good idea to use. It's a matter of preference here. If you prefer to use the DAG object, with the context manager you can do that. If you prefer to use the DAG decorator, feel free to use it. Then we have the start date, a schedule to known, catch up to false. Remember that in Airflow 3, you don't have to specify catch up anymore to false because that's the default value. Okay. We have a DAG ID. So here the DAG ID is specified. You don't have to specify it. Okay. If you use the DAG decorator, you don't have to specify the DAG ID because by default with the DAG decorator, the DAG ID is the name of the function. But if you want to have a different name, which I guess is the case here, then that will be the name of the DAG ID instead. So here the name of the DAG will be ecom data pipeline and not Silism income 360 DAG. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. Okay, so let's move on. We have like some print on the standard output. I don't recommend you to do that. The reason is, don't forget that your DAG is parsed every 30 seconds by default. And so anything that you put outside of tasks, like those print that you can see here, they will be evaluated, they will be executed every 30 seconds as well. Okay, so I do not recommend you to put logs like that because they will appear every 30 seconds in your logs. Okay, and that's not what you may want. And then like we have a check here, so I guess if we want to use soda or not, there is the config.use soda. Again, I don't recommend you to use a condition like that here because this condition will be evaluated every 30 seconds. In my opinion, it's better if you use like a branch task operator. So typically you would have a branch task here that decides if you want to execute this task or this one according to this condition. So if we want to use soda in the config, I think it's cleaner to do that because again, your condition won't be evaluated every 30 seconds. Okay, so in that case, I would rather use a branch task than a condition. I don't know what you think, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Okay, I'm not sure if I see all the comments. Okay, then we have the external Python task. So actually, this one is an interesting one. The external Python task allows you to run your tasks. So what you can see here, this task will be executed within a Python virtual environment. So if for some reason you have, like a Python package or like you want to do something in Python and that needs a Python package in a specific version, but you already have this Python package in a different version in your own Airflow environment, using the external Python task allows you to avoid any conflicts. Okay, so that's actually a best practice. If you have a tool that requires a lot of different Python packages and you want to ensure that you don't end up with any conflicts, I highly recommend you to use the external Python task. Okay, that's a very good one to use, and many people don't use it, but it's a very powerful operator. Okay, I think there is another one where you're so in that case the environment here is already created, as you can see right here, but you have a different operator that allows you to create the Python virtual environment each time the task runs. Okay, but in that case, the Python virtual environment already exists, as you can see right here. And then inside the task, we execute some soda checks. Great. Otherwise, we do nothing. Okay. Then we have the task decorator right here with dbt depths. So I guess it's for the dependencies. And we are using the dbt command. I don't know if you have to use the dbt command like that here if you are using Cosmos. I will need to double check that. So yeah, I need to double check that. I'm not sure if you have to run the dbt depths command in that case. If someone has already done that in Cosmos, let me know in the comments, but I'm not sure if you have to do that. Okay, then we have the run source test. Same thing here. We are using the dbt command as well. We are not using Cosmos. I'm pretty sure you don't have to do that if you are using Cosmos. I'm pretty sure you don't have to do that if you use Cosmos. Okay, I'm not sure exactly why the author decided to do it that way. Maybe there is a reason for that, but I don't think you have to run dbt tests like that if you are using Cosmos. Okay, then we have a task group. Okay, for the ingestion task. Same thing. Actually, one very important thing to keep in mind. You know, when you have like a task group, when you have a task group here, like the code that you can see here, even if it is in a task group, that code will be executed every time the DAG is parsed by Airflow, okay, by the scheduler. So just keep that in mind. You may think that this code won't be executed at every parsing interval, but it will be. Okay, so again, be careful. I can see here we have like a get config and then connection string credentials. So all of that code will be executed every 30 seconds by default. And you may not want that. Okay. So always ensure that the code you want to run is in a task. Okay, and then we have the ingest table underscore ingest table task right here. We have the table name, and then I guess like for every table, we want to run this task. Let me see. Yes, right here. Okay, so the idea is that this task right here, so all of that to ingest the data from to ingest the data from this database into DuckDB. So here so here we get the data from a database, and then we from a Postgres database, and then we put the data in a DuckDB. Okay, so we want to run this task for every table that we have right here. Okay. And so what we do here is that we loop over this list of tables in order to generate the ingest table task for every table. Okay. Okay, I see. All right. Okay. Okay, so same thing. Actually, like all of what you can see here is going to be executed every 30 seconds. Okay, so every 30 seconds, this list of tables, like all the tables that you can see here, so you are going to generate all the tasks corresponding to this list of tables every 30 seconds. I don't think it's I mean, like when you have something like that, and it's very common actually, performance wise, I believe using dynamic task mapping is better. Okay, if you don't know about dynamic task mapping allows you to generate tasks dynamically based on an input that you don't know in advance. But even if you already know that input, you can use dynamic task mapping. And based on some benchmarks that I saw in the past, it might be better for you to use dynamic task mapping for generating tasks than using a for loop. Okay, than using a for loop like that. So yeah, that's what I will do instead. But otherwise, what we are doing here is that we are generating a task for every table, and all of those tasks will be within this task group. Okay, the Postgre ingestion group, which is a good idea. Okay, definitely, like when you have, many tasks that do the same thing that can be logically grouped together, I highly recommend you to use a task group. That's the best practice. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare for you to debug your DAG and just to know what's going on here. Okay, and then we have the Kafka ingestion task group. So I guess it's the same idea, but now we are using some events from Kafka. So we have this function here. And I imagine that this function is used somewhere. Yeah, so again, we are using DLT here to fetch data from Kafka and to store the data in DuckDB. I didn't have time to check DLT. I don't know if some of you guys tried DLT. Did you try? Okay. Okay, I will need to spend some time on DLT because it looks like to be definitely an interesting tool to extract data and store the data from different sources and destinations. Then we have like the DBT task group. So that's what I was talking about. So you have your DBT project. You want to transform that DBT project into a task group. So instead of a DAG, you end up with a task group and your different models defined as Airflow tasks. So that's what you can see here. That's a very, very best practice. That's a very good idea. Definitely, whenever you use DBT, use Cosmos. Again, that's so much better to integrate DBT within your Airflow DAGs. And then we have the dummy operator here. Use the empty operator instead. The dummy operator is gone a long time ago. You should not use the dummy operator anymore. And then we have the dependencies right here. And finally, yeah, so this same thing here. You see the DAG equals to the DAG object. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just remove this part. Okay, DAG equal, you don't have to use. You don't have to define that. You can just put the DAG right away, and that will work. Okay, so that's what I would say about this DAG. Overall, it's a pretty solid DAG, honestly. A lot of a good idea here, like the external Python operator to avoid Python package conflicts, the decorators, so the task-free API. There is a description. That's a good idea to always define a description. Same thing for your tags. You want to be able to filter your DAGs on the Airflow UI, especially if you have many DAGs. Also, we have the max active tasks to 1 and max active runs to 1. Because DuckDB does not support multiple writes at the same time, the idea here is that you always have one instance of your DAG with only one task at a time. Okay, so that's why we have those two parameters. Yeah, again, like the use of task groups, great idea to group your tasks together. So here we have the ingestion tasks that will be grouped together. Also, the fact that we generate tasks dynamically. So overall, I would say it's a pretty solid DAG. We use Cosmos as well. I think like the only things that I would improve here is use the MT operator. Maybe double check Cosmos, because I'm not sure you have to use the DBT commands right here. Okay, DBT depths and DBT tests. Maybe you can do that with Cosmos right away. Also avoid like things like that, like conditions within your DAG. Maybe you can use here a branch task instead, so this code won't be evaluated every 30 seconds. Same thing for your logs. Be careful with that. And otherwise, that's all I would say. Performance-wise, again, like dynamic task mapping might be a good idea here. And yeah, I think that's all for this project. So again, if you want to try the project, if you want to try it out, you just go to the following link, and then you view it on GitHub, and then you will be able to clone the repo and run it to see how it goes. Okay, so that's it for the review of the DAG. Do you have any questions maybe? That's my first live, by the way, so thank you for being here. I didn't plan that at all. It was not a scheduled event at all. Hi, everybody. All right, so next time I will make a proper live event. Maybe it will be better for everybody. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Feel free to check out the project, and I will see you for another DAG review if you enjoyed that live. I will make it, I will make it like a proper scheduled event. But I just wanted to try out. This is the first time that I try a live event. Hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you a wonderful day. Take care. See you soon.